ongoing thing.
Friends, and welcome to another class by Daily English Classroom. In today's class we are learning this lesson Never Never Nest, which is a one-act play by Cedric Mount. And who are the main characters in this play? We have Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill. Jack is the husband and Jill is his wife. Then Aunt Jane, their auntie or aunt, and then we have a character called the niece. Let's go to the first scene. So this is a play, so you have to be careful about the scenes or the setting of the play. So the setting of the play is the lounge of Jack and Jill's villa at New Hampstead. The essential furniture consists of a table on which are writing materials and 2 chairs. As the curtain raises, the lounge is empty, but Jack and Jill come immediately, followed by Aunt Jane. So when the play begins, we can see the background or the scene that you see on the stage is the lounge or the living room inside the house of Jack and Jill, and the place is New Hampstead. And we can see some furnitures and tables and chairs, and on the table there are some writing materials, and we can see as soon as the curtain is raised, we can see the characters Jack and Jill come and sit on the chair, and then Aunt Jane also comes there. And Jill, and this is the lounge. Aunt Jane. Charming, charming, such a cozy little room and such pretty. So Aunt Jane is really surprised by seeing this beautiful house, and she tells that this is a very beautiful room, very handy, very useful, very comfortable little room. It's really charming, it's amazing, it's a beautiful room. Then Jack says, "We like it, you know, handy place to sit in and listen to the radiogram." So Jack says that this is the place that they have arranged to sit there and relax, so that they can listen to some radio programs. Aunt Jane, "Oh, have you got a radiogram as well as a car and a piano?" So Aunt Jane is really surprised because she never thought that they could actually have all these comforts in their house, like a radio, a car, a piano, etc. Then Jack says, "Why? Of course, Aunt Jane, you simply must have a radio set nowadays." So Jack says that you cannot live without a radio set nowadays because it has become an important part of everyday life. It's an essential part of the everyday life. Then Jack also says, "Why, of course, Aunt Jane, you simply must have a radio set nowadays. Jill, it is so nice for me when Jack's away at business. I even make him move it into the kitchen so that I can listen to it while I cook." So Jill is also supporting Jack, and she says that a radio is very essential for modern life, and sometimes she takes the radio to the kitchen so that when Jack is not there, she can listen to the beautiful songs, the melodious songs on the radio while she is preparing food in the kitchen, while she is cooking. Jill, and it's so nice for me when Jack's away at business, I even make him move it into the kitchen so that I can listen to it while I cook. Jack, sit down, Aunt Jane, you must be tired and we have shown you everything now. So Jack told Aunt Jane to sit there and relax because he knows she's tired. And Jill, what do you think of our little nest, Aunt Jane? So from here you get the word nest, that never never nest. So nest here stands for their house. Jack says, "How do you like this? Do you like this place? What do you think of this little house, this little nest, Aunt Jane?" Then Aunt Jane says, "I think it's wonderful, my dears. The furniture, the car, the piano, the refrigerator, and the radio. What's it? It's a wonderful, really wonderful." So Aunt Jane was really impressed by all these comforts and everything which a family needed is there in this little nest of Jack and Jill. And she was really happy, she was really surprised, and she said, "It's really wonderful, Jack, and we owe it all to you." And Jack says that it's all because of you. Then Aunt Jane, yes, Jack, that's what's worrying me. So when Jack said that it's all because of you, Aunt Jane is really a little bit worried because she was really confused. If I have given them 200 pounds or 2,000 pounds as a wedding gift, because they have got all the things that they needed in the house. Then Jack asked, worrying you, Aunt Jane? Aunt Jane, yes, that check I gave you for your wedding present, it was only 200 pounds, wasn't it? I didn't put 2,000 by mistake. So she was asking, how much money have I given to you for as a wedding gift? Was it 200 pounds? Or by mistake I added an extra zero and made it 2,000 pounds? Jill, why no? Aunt Jane, what on earth made you think that? Aunt Jane relieved. Well, that's all right, but I still don't altogether understand. Aunt Jane still cannot understand how they are able to buy all these things. And Jack has already said that it's all because of you. Right, but I still don't altogether understand. Aunt Jane says that she cannot understand how they are having all these things in the house, all the luxurious things in the house. And she was asking them about the rent for the house. Then Jack says, rent? Oh no, we don't pay rent. Aunt Jane, but Jack, if you don't pay rent, you will get turned out into the street, and that would never do. You have Jill and the baby to think of you now. So if you are not paying the rent, the real owner of the house will send you out of the house. So you have to live. You have a wife and a child now. So how are you managing all these things? Then Jack says that, no, Aunt Jane, you misunderstood me. We don't pay rent because the house is ours. So then Jack says that they don't have to pay any rent for the house because they own the house. It's their house. Then Aunt Jane is again surprised. Yours? Jill, why yes, you just pay 10 pounds and it's yours. So this is the modern consumer system, that you just have to pay some money and you can actually own a house. The rest of the amount you can pay in installments. This is the offer given by some of the people. So Aunt Jane was really surprised to learn that this house is actually their house because they have paid some amount of money. So all they have to pay for this house is just 10 pounds. The remaining amount will have to be paid in installment scheme. Why? Yes, you just pay 10 pounds and it's yours. Jack, you see, Aunt Jane, we realized how uneconomic it is to go on paying rent year after year when you can buy and enjoy a home of your own for 10 pounds and few quarterly payments, of course. Why be Mr. Tenant when you can be Mr. Owner? So here Jack tells Aunt Jane that there is a new offer, there is a new system of installments where by using it you can actually buy a house by just paying 10 pounds, and the rest of the amount you can pay in installments. So this is a system that they are actually using. Is here talking about Mr. Tenant and Mr. Owner. What is the difference? Mr. Tenant means one who is taking a house for rent, and Mr. Owner is actually the owner of the house who don't have to pay any rent because he is the owner. So Jack says that you can be the owner by just paying 10 pounds. Then why you have to pay the rent for the house? Then Aunt Jane is really surprised. I see, yes, there is something in that. Even so, you must be getting on very well to keep up a place like this. Jill, oh, he is Aunt Jane. Why? Only last year he had a 5-shilling rise, didn't you, Jack? Then Jill was just talking about the income of Jack, that he is getting some increment in his salary. Jack, of course, that was nothing really. I'm expecting 10 this Christmas. Aunt Jane, suddenly, Jack, I have just thought of something. That car, is it yours? Then Aunt Jane again asked Jack by pointing at the car, is that yours? Then Jill again says, of course it is ours. All yours? No, not exactly. Aunt Jane, how much of it? So there is a car outside. They don't actually own the full car, only some part of the car, because they have paid only some installments, and the car will be completely theirs only after paying the full amount. Jill says, oh, I should say the steering wheel one of the tires, two of the cylinders. But don't you see, that's the wonderful thing about actually on the full car, only the steering, one wheel and two cylinders, that's theirs. The rest of the car is someone else's because they haven't completely paid the amount. And Jane, I don't see anything wonderful about it. Jill, but there is. And Jane, you see, although we could never buy a car outright, we can enjoy all the pleasures of motoring for mere £5 down. So Jill says that this is a new system. This is very good because by paying just £5, they can use the whole car, even though only some part of it belongs to them and they have to pay the complete amount in future. But they can really enjoy all the pleasures. And Jane, and the rest by easy installments, I suppose. So I think you are going to pay some more money for that car so that you can make it yours. And the Jack agrees that yes, that's it. And Jane, exactly. And what about the radio? Was it? Oh, Jack, well, that's the and Jane. And the piano? Jill, of course. And Jane, and the furniture? Jack, I'm afraid so. And Jane, I suppose all you own is this leg. She points to one. So she is pointing. First she talked about the car, then about the furniture, piano, sofa, etc. And all these things, they do not completely belong to them. Only some parts of it. For example, of the sofa, only one leg of the sofa is of yours. You cannot actually use the sofa with one leg. You need 4 legs. So once you pay the full amount, you can actually say that this is your sofa. So this is the situation. And Aunt Jane is so afraid even to sit on that sofa because it belongs to someone else. Only one leg is theirs. Then Jill, well, no, as a matter of fact, it's that one. She points to another. And Jane, and the rest belongs to Mr. Sage, I suppose. So only one leg of the sofa belongs to them, and the rest of them belongs to some other person who gave them the sofa by installment scheme called Mr. Sage. Now tell me, how much do all these installments come to? So she was afraid to sit there on the sofa because it's not completely Jack's. Afraid, she just stood up and asked them about how they are going to pay all these installments. Jack, well, actually, he takes out his pocketbook and consults it. Actually, to £7, 8 and 8 pence a week. And Jane, good heavens, and how much do you earn? So here is the question that Aunt Jane asks: how much you have to pay for all these things, all these luxury things in your house? That comes around more than £7. And how much you are earning? You are earning just £6. So the remaining money, how you are going to pay it? So, and Jane, that's absurd. That's very bad because you are asked to pay more than what you actually earn. Is it possible? How can you pay £7, 8 and 8 pence out of £6? You are only getting £6. So how are you going to pay £7, more than £7 with that money? Then Jack says, oh, that's easy. You see, all you have to do is to borrow the rest of the money for the payments from the Thrift and Providence Trust Corporation. So Jack's plan is to spend his complete salary for payment, and for the remaining part of the money he is planning to take a next loan. So again and again he is taking loan over loan, and he is making his life very difficult. Still, they are only too glad to loan you any amount you like, or not offhand alone. And Jane, and how do you propose to pay that back? Well, the problem with these people is that they are ready to take loans and loans, again loans, etc. And they are living beyond their means. And Aunt Jane is really afraid about all these things, how these people are going to actually paying off all this amount or money. They don't think about how to pay the money back. They are only thinking about getting new things in the house, taking new loans. They don't worry about how to pay the money. So actually this is a kind of trap, and they will really suffer in the future for taking these loans, because nobody will give you a loan unless they got something, some amount of money from that. So actually for something for £7 a thing, actually you have to pay £10 at the end, even though you can pay it in installments. So that's the real evil thing about that. How do you propose to pay that back? Oh, that's easy, to just pay it back in installments. Now again, he's talking about installments. And installments. She claps her hand to her forehead and sinks back weakly into the chair. Then realizes that she is sitting on Mr. Sage's piece and leaps to her feet again with a little shriek. So she was about to sit there on the sofa, and suddenly she remembers that this sofa is not their sofa. It belongs to Mr. Sage. So she was afraid to sit there on that sofa. Jack, Aunt Jane, is anything the matter? Would you like to lie down? Would you like to take some rest? Aunt Jane, lie down. Do you suppose I'm going to trust myself in a bed that belongs to Mr. Sage? So Aunt Jane feels very bad. She was not confident to sit on the sofa or to lie down sometime on the bed because that belongs to Mr. Sage, someone else. Or Marks and Spencer or somebody. No, I'm not. I'm going home. Oh, must you really go? Aunt Jane, I think I would better. Jack, I will drive you to the station. Aunt Jane, what? Travel in a car that has only one tire and two thingamies? No, thank you. I will take the bus. Well, of course, if you feel like that about it. So after that, Jack, when Aunt Jane told them that she wants to go back to her home, Jack told her that he would take her to the bus stop, but she was not ready to travel in that car because only the steering and some wheels belongs to them, the rest of them belongs to someone else. So she was afraid to travel in that car. So she said she would go by walking. Aunt Jane, now I am sorry if I sound rude, but really I am shocked to find the way you are living. So this is the point of the whole lesson. She is really worried about the way they are living. These people, Jack and Jill, is leading a kind of life which is not at all safe because they are spending too much money, even that's beyond their income, and therefore it's a very bad thing that they are doing. It's not good. It's shocking for Aunt Jane. I've never owned a penny in my life. Cash down, that's my motto, and I want you to do the same. She opens her handbag. Now look, here is a little check I was meaning to give you anyway. She hands it to Jill. Suppose you take it and pay off just one of your bills so that you can say one thing at least really belongs to you. So before Aunt Jane leaves the house, she gave them a check of £10 and just told them, at least this is all I can do. So you just take this money and at least pay completely full for something in the house so that you can say this is yours. So just pay for that. Jill, thank you, Aunt Jane. It's very nice of you. Aunt Jane, there, now I must be going. Jack, I will see you to the bus anyway. Jill, goodbye, Aunt Jane, and thank you so much for the present. So Aunt Jane has given them a present here, some money. She gave her some check. Aunt Jane, goodbye, my dear. Jill looks at the check and exclaims, £10. Then she hurries to the table, addresses an envelope, endorses the check and slips it inside with a bill which she takes from the bag and seals the envelope. Then she rings the bell. In a moment, the nurse comes in with the baby in her arms. So then comes the nurse. Jill, oh nurse, I want you to run and post this for me. So now they have got £10, a gift from Aunt Jane. And Jill, when Jack was taking her to the bus stop, Jill just gave this money that she got from Aunt Jane and gave it to the nurse to give this money to a doctor. We'll see why she's doing it. I will look after the baby while you are gone. Nurse, certainly, madam. She hands the baby to Jill, takes the letter and goes. A second later, Jack comes in again. So Jack comes back after taking her to the bus stop, and by this time Jill has already sent this money to a doctor, this £10 gift from Aunt Jane to a doctor, because they have to pay some money for the baby. The baby is not actually fully theirs. Jack says, that's great, we can pay off the next 2 months on the car with that. So Jack, when he came back, he was saying that, okay, anyway, we got £10 and I think of spending this money for paying the installment of the car, but Jill says that it is already given to the doctor. Then Jack says, why ever not? You see, I have already sent it off for something else. Nurse has just gone to post it. Jack, well, that's all right. Who have you sent it to? Jill, Dr. Martin. So Jack asked to whom she had paid this £10, and to that Jill said that she had paid this money to Dr. Martin. Jack, he doesn't even remember about the people whom he has to pay the money. So the Jack asked Dr. Martin, what on earth possessed you to do that? Jill, nearly in tears, there, now you are going to be angry with me. Jack, I'm not angry, but why waste good money on the doctor? Doctors don't expect to get paid anyway. So Jack says that the doctors, they don't need any money. Why you are just wasted £10 and gave it to Dr. Martin? Then Jill started crying. Sobbing means crying. But you don't understand what? Jill, why? Just one more installment and the baby will release out. So they need to pay one more installment. So even the child is not completely there. So this is the criticism of the modern society, who are living beyond their means and engage in all types of installment programs. So here even their child is not completely theirs, because they have paid only some amount of the expense of the delivery. So they have to pay that money to the doctor, and only after they can say that the child is completely theirs. So they want at least to make the baby theirs, baby really ours. She's holding out the infant a little pathetically as we black out. So she was saying that I just gave the money to the nurse to send it to Dr. Martin, so that this child will become ours completely. So see how pathetic even the couple, their child is not completely theirs. They have to pay some money because they didn't pay the full money for the expenses in the hospital. So they have to pay the remaining money. Only after that they can claim that this is my child. So how sad, how pathetic the situation is. This is the modern culture of the consumer society that we can understand very well from this play. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and have a nice day.